mean, with all of this, with us talking about Warner Brothers specifically, our top five this week is top five favorite Warner Brothers films.
Yes.
Because no matter who is at the regime, who is at the freaking head of the ship, they still put out some great films, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some iconic films. I'll say that a lot of mine were under the regime of before the AOL Time Warner disaster. It was Steve Ross and or Jack Warner still in control. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, when you look back, and I love it because our lists are so different, but it shows the span of decades of and generational quality in filmmaking between our two lists. It's a great list.
It is, that's for sure. Well, my number five goes to one of y'all's 80s classics,
Yes.
Generation X, I think you are.
Yes.
Man, oh man, I'm talking about The Goonies. Hey, you guys. Oh my goodness. One of the most iconic films of all time. I think it's one of the most underrated, specifically now, not back when it came out, but specifically now, I think it's one of the most underrated coming of age stories for a group of ragtag kids,
Oh, without
especially
doubt.
if outcasts, right? I definitely feel like you think of Stand By Me, you think of The Breakfast Club, you think of any of John Hughes movies, but Steven Spielberg did some amazing things with so many different projects, and The Goonies was one of them. I definitely feel like it is a rite of passage to also watch The Goonies, to have a childhood experience where you feel like you're going on a journey to find a treasure. Like that's the whole concept. And along the way, you find yourself, you find, what life is meant to be and what life is worth living. Um, First time I ever saw the Goonies, I think I was in fifth or sixth grade, so around 12, 13, 11, 12, 13. And it changed how I viewed storytelling and the imaginary aspect. It is so like epic. There's so many epic one-liners, so many epic people who came from this film who are now huge movie stars.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like it's an underrated film right now, and I feel like more people need to go back to that. And then the entertainment industry needs to go back to being imaginary. That's what it's all about, man. Just having fun, being entertained. We're focusing way too much on, yes, it's important to tell a message. Yes, it's important to get a conversation starter out there. But I also don't think enough of the entertainment aspect is in the entertainment industry right now. But anyway, my number five is The Goonies.
No, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I feel like it's either blow shit up, big action, or just a message you're trying to send to say something to somebody. There's no story anymore.
Yeah.
It's like these films on our lists, they're all great stories.
Yeah.
They're entertaining and they're fun stories. It's just yeah, I miss that too. And yeah, the Goonies. And I'm worried because we greenlit finally, after all these years, almost 40 years, we greenlit the sequel finally to The Goonies. Will it even happen now? Oh my God, will it even happen? Everybody's been waiting so long for that sequel, and now we don't even know. My number five, I bounce back and forth all the time between Tombstone and this movie as my favorite Western of all time. But this one is definitely my favorite Warner Brothers Western of all time. Unforgiven. Uh, oh, Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman, just Gene Hackman, phenomenal Western story, guys. And it's one of the most beautifully shot films ever. If you guys didn't know, Clint Eastwood, Jack Warner's golden boy, they were tight. It's why Warner, and probably not anymore, but it's why no matter what, they always greenlit Clint Eastwood films. Even when they knew it wasn't really going to do well at the box, they greenlit it anyway. Because he was Jack Warner's golden boy, and he's just like, yeah, if Clint comes to Warner Brothers, we say yes. And so it's fantastic. This film, though, if you don't know the story, Clint found it and basically said it's not the right time, and he shoved it in a drawer. And he waited years to pull it back out and go, now's when we hit. Now's when we do it. And that's how smart of a filmmaker Clint Eastwood was. And sure enough, it hit, bam, and, wins Best Director, it just wins all kinds of Oscars. And the performances, in my opinion, it may be the best performance or one of the best performances of Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman, and Gene Hackman that I've ever seen. It's just a phenomenal, phenomenal Western about redemption, about learning to overcome a shitty life. It's there's so much there in the story. Yeah, I can't say enough about it. My number 5, Unforgiven. If you've never checked out this Western, what? Do it. Trust me, you will be thankful that you did. It's a phenomenal movie.
It is. It is. Great piece of storytelling and something that I really wasn't expecting when I first watched it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. Number 4 for me goes to the epic Men of All Men films. Very masculine, very First time I
Mm.
ever seen Gerard Butler in anything, and then I went back and watched Phantom of the Opera, and I was like, wow, the range.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. I'm talking about this is Sparta. Freaking 300, man. I remember when that film came out, like my dad and all of his friends were like super into it. Like, I mean, like I talk about, it is the definition of male masculinity. And I mean, it was epic. Tells the story of the 300 Spartans who are fighting the Persians. And like, it's an epic sense of storytelling, epic directing. Zack Snyder, I mean, you definitely got that edge. And I mean, if you look at 300 and then you look at like Man of Steel and the Justice League, you can definitely tell it was directed by the same
Oh
director.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely loved it. It's a great freaking movie, very entertaining, very action packed, but historical at the same time. And oh my gosh, for any guys out there, don't we wish that our abs could look like those abs on those Spartans? I'm just saying, like they make us
Gerard
all
Butler
look.
wishes he could still look like that.
Yeah,
Like, come
exactly.
on.
Exactly. They put us all to shame, that's
That's
for
right.
sure. But it's such a great, entertaining movie, beautifully shot, definitely different than anything else we had seen in that current day
Yeah,
time.
visually,
And
yeah.
yeah, so yeah, number 4 for me, 300.
There you go. And then my number 4, along those same lines, visually, it's got to be the single most beautiful film I have ever seen. The way it is shot, the color grading of it, the sequences between the seasons, just everything about this thing. Not just the big action scenes, because there's a lot of action scenes and heavy stuff, but just the tender love scene moments, the appreciation of the snow and the cherry blossom trees and the sunset and the golden hour. It's just visually the most stunning film I have ever seen. I am talking about The Last Samurai. It tells the story of a Westerner that basically comes in and tries to help the last of the samurai hold on to control in a Japan that was quickly shifting away from bringing in Gatling guns and shifting to what we now know as the modern day Japan. And it was basically the last war of them trying to eliminate the dynasty and the samurai and old tradition, if you will, of Japan. And they bring in this American war hero, Civil War hero, to try to help them fight off what's happening. It's Tom Cruise, and it's my favorite Tom Cruise film of all time. Honestly, I think it's so beautifully done, directed, written, shot. His performance is stellar, and early on, guys, I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of Tom Cruise, but I never not like a film of his. I don't understand it. But if you haven't checked this one out, it's not easy to find right now. It's a Warner Brothers film, but it's not even on Max right now, which really just, but if you can find it, watch it. It's one of those really powerful, historical, true stories, but told in a way, like I said, it's woven in. There's a love story, there's war going on, there's conflict between the East and the West. There's so many little stories going on in the context of the whole story, but it's so beautifully shot and done. It's always going to be one of my all-time favorite films. The Last Samurai.
Yes, so good, man. So good. Still need to watch that one. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, no, dude, you'd love it. I know, as a guy who's a camera guy and a cinematographer and visual, and now you're doing with the color grading and that, highly recommend. This film knocks it out of the park with color grading, showing you going from winter, like stark cold white snow with the peak of the little cherry blossom, to the raging battlefield with the golden sunlight. And dude, the colors, it's just phenomenal, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, number three for me goes to Rush Hour. I absolutely
Oh,
love the Rush Hour franchise. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I I googled if Rush Hour was a Warner Brothers movie, and it said it. So I don't know if it was a Paramount movie or not. But I'm
it
gonna
was acquired.
Ah, I
Yes.
see. It was one of those. But anyway, yes, Rush Hour, one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. I love the dynamic between Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. So epic. I love the first two. The third one's a little when they go to Paris, but when they're in Los Angeles, that one's so epic. And then when they go back to China, that one's so epic as well. And I
Yes.
mean, we love the Oriental culture, so I feel like there is a lot of that in both films. And then you get the American version of us, like walking into the the Oriental culture being like, what the hell? Like, yeah, it's crazy. So absolutely love it. So many iconic phrases, so many iconic songs in both these films. And honestly, one of the biggest reasons I fell in love with Jackie Chan.
Mm.
He's a great, phenomenal stunt performer, a great, phenomenal actor. Chris Tucker is epic. And I definitely feel like, what both of them are able to bring to the screen, specifically Jackie Chan, definitely changed perception of how martial arts and how stunt performers are appreciated in the entertainment
Without
industry.
doubt.
So yeah, number three for me, Rush Hour.
Yes, indeed. Great film. Number three for me. I heard you heard me at the top of the show talking about the whole Stephen Ross, last big, great guy at Warner Brothers before the demise. This was his basically last film that he greenlit, basically was behind, basically was like, hell yeah, before the whole Jerry Levin, Steve Case disaster that took away Warner Brothers from us. My number three is the 89 Batman. This film, in the 70s and early 80s, there was this like blockbuster, right? Jaws kicked off the blockbuster and people were lining up around buildings to get in to see these shows and everything. Then it kind of faded away a little bit. The 89 Batman brought that back. The excitement to see a darker version of Batman on the screen. Could Michael Keaton pull it off? What was this going to be like? What was it going to be about? And it was the first time that Batman had, well, I won't say the first time because the Adam West Batman did have a movie in the theaters, but it was just basically a promo for the TV show kind of a movie. It wasn't real. So basically the real first time that you saw Batman on the big screen, and it was such a different version of Batman. And it was the iconic lines around the theater, people literally lining up for blocks to get in to see this thing. And of course, obviously, Keaton just knocked it out of the freaking park with Tim Burton and Kim Basinger and Jack Nicholson as the Joker and solidified, in my opinion, Batman. There's always arguments about who the best Batman is. Is it Keaton? Is it Bale? Well, they all emulate Keaton. I'm Batman. The voice comes from Keaton. He's the first one to do it. He's the one, and they all try to emulate it. So, in my opinion, that says Keaton's the best Batman because they all try to emulate Keaton. And then spin it their own way, of course. And they're all great Batmans. But for me, Keaton will always be my favorite Batman. And this will always be one of my favorite films. It was the resurgence of superhero films. Right after 89 Batman, you started to get the X-Men. You started to see the resurgence of the superhero films, which I don't even think we have what we have today if Batman 89 doesn't succeed. So there you go. My number three, Batman.
Completely agree. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, my number two goes to The Dark Knight,
Of
of
course.
course. Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale, so many others. Heath Ledger, of course, of course. But yeah, I mean, the way this was cinematically told, with the color grading and with the different hues as far as
Mm,
color tones when it comes to the blue or the orange slash
yep.
yellow, it definitely came across emotionally just from the images that you saw on screen. The motion picture of this film was definitely something that was so captivating that, it kept you engulfed in the story without even really paying attention to the story. And then to add on different layers of that, you do get freaking amazing performances. In my
Yeah.
opinion, all three of, the Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale Batmans were great. They were really good, but The Dark Knight is definitely the peak of their
Agreed.
cinema, in my
Agreed.
opinion. So what that was able to bring to the table, I mean, obviously Heath Ledger's Joker winning him the Oscar after his passing was such an epic, epic thing. But I do think that, what this film was able to do was also get comic book fans to be like, hey, it doesn't need to necessarily follow step by step of the comics, because we've argued before on the past where like, oh my gosh, comic book fans, chill the hell out. There's gonna be some variations. And Christopher Nolan like was that exception. He was the one who took the story and the concept and completely changed it and made it his own. And of course adding elements, but it also was just a good freaking film.
Yeah.
I think that's what the thing is. He didn't try to shove too much in there. And I feel like now sometimes I feel like with some of the comic book adaptations, they try to shove too much into the storyline, too many Easter eggs when it should again just be an entertaining story. So yeah, that's why obviously it's one of my favorite films of all time. But yeah, number two for me, The Dark Knight.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest variation he made from the comics is Joker, the history of
Yep.
Joker and the backstory, and quite possibly the best interpretation of Joker that we've ever
Hmm.
seen. So it's
Yeah.
odd that you would basically change everything about what he was in the comic books and make him your own kind of Joker, and it ends up being the definitive Joker. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
in many people's opinions, anyway. My number two is hanging on your wall back there. Probably one of the greatest films in cinematic history to begin with, let alone Warner Brothers films. One of the greatest love stories ever told on film, one of the most classic one-liners ever on film, right? And a few one-liners. I think this film may have sparked the one-liners in films, right? It's like, when the girl walks in, or put your lips together and blow, and like just all the iconic one-liners that I think about. Casablanca. And we've talked about this one, like, to tell such a beautiful, moving, heart-wrenching love story set in the middle of World War II. It's literally a war flick that's a love story, but it's obviously a love story that also is a war pick. And I mean, come on. Ingrid Bergman and it just like, come on, man.
I know.
It's one of the single greatest films of all time, and it would be remiss not to have this on the list. And this
Hmm.
just shows you. I put this on the list, one, because it's one of my all-time favorite movies and all-time performances, and just everything about this film. But I wanted to put this on the list because this shows you what we might be losing.
Hmm.
This shows you the legacy of Warner Brothers and the films that they made and the stories that they told that we might see disappear soon. And that just crushes me. So I had to put this on my list, Casablanca, because this is definitive Warner Brothers movie making. Casablanca. It just, had to be. Number two, Casablanca for me.
Yeah, Humphrey Bogart is definitely my favorite actor of that generation.
Oh,
He is
without doubt,
so freaking good. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you will get on that plane.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
it's
So many one-liners. And so
yeah,
many of all the places of all the world. You walk in and
yeah,
just so
yeah.
many.
One of the best endings of all time, in my opinion.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
He doesn't get her.
No, he doesn't.
Spoiler,
Exactly.
what? It's the greatest love story possibly ever told. And they don't end up together. What?
Exactly. It's wild. Number one for me goes to my all-time favorite film. You've probably heard about me talk about this film ad nauseum, and I'm talking about Sleepers. Of course, it has so many amazing cast members. It has so many amazing story plot lines. But yeah, again, if y'all haven't seen this film, please be sure to do it. It's a coming of age story about boys who were molested in a boys' home and are able to get revenge in their adulthood. Some in a illegal way, I guess you could say, and then some in a justice way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it shows you the outcomes of both, if you want to get justice or if you want to get revenge the wrong way, and if you want to get revenge in the right way. And it's a beautiful piece of storytelling. My boy Brad Pitt's in it, and I mean, it's so good. It's over 2 hours long, but it's one of those that I'll sit there and watch it every single freaking time. Billy Crudup is so good. Young performance of him. Be sure to check it out. But yes, my number one, Sleepers.
Love that. Yeah. Can we just talk about Billy Crudup for a minute and how underrated he actually is? He is such a phenomenal actor and has been for decades. And I feel like he's just overlooked way too often. I want to see a movie with him and Johnny Bernthal in it together. Holy
Right.
shit.
Yeah,
That
I'm gonna
would
watch
be...
Jay Kelly today, and
Me too.
apparently
Yeah.
he's like amazing in that.
Steals the
And
show
like,
from what I
yeah,
hear. Like, yeah. So, yeah, dude, me too. That was on my list for today too. That's so funny. My number one, again, like you said with Sleepers, it's, you've heard me talk about it in nausea. It's my favorite film of all time. It's the reason I'm a filmmaker. It's everything that ever wanted to make me feel like you can do anything in the world. Superman, the 1978 version. You will believe a man could fly. I did, and the rest is history. It's this doesn't just work on a level of a superhero film, which it's the granddaddy of them all and the one they all try to match the bar to and haven't yet, in my opinion. But it's a great film. It's great storytelling. It's great direction by Richard Donner. The performances between Hackman and Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder are just out of the park, sensational. It's a love story. It's a story of redemption. It's a story of loss, with the loss of Krypton and his earthly dad. And it's a story of right and wrong. Do I spin that world backwards and bring her back to life, or do I just let her die? There's so much story engulfed in this superhero film that I think that's why it sets the bar, why it's the one they all try to achieve to match, because it isn't just a superhero movie. It isn't just action. It's a film. It's a story. It's dialogue. It's everything. And it was groundbreaking at the time. You watch the special effects in that 78 Superman, they're better than some of the CGI shit we're seeing now. And it was all practical. So it's just, to me, it's an amazing piece of film work. And so that's why it's always been one of my favorite things. Literally, as an 8-year-old kid, I'm just looking at it, marveling, going, what am I watching right now? I forgot that I went to see it because I was a comic book fan. And I was engulfed in the world of, how are they doing that? Which was amazing to me. So just, yeah, my number one, Superman 78, of which Warner Brothers took a risk on. It was a risk. They had a hard time getting it greenlit at first, Jack, and then we're like... But they finally greenlit it, and the rest is history. So, it's just, again, one of those legacy things of the studio that, like, okay, let's ride or die with this thing and see what happens. And it ended up being one of the biggest films in the world at the time of its release, and the rest is history. So that's what I love about Warner Brothers and Jack Warner specifically, because obviously the other two had passed by this point, but they were willing to take risks on creators. They were willing to tell stories that nobody else would touch, and that's Warner Brothers, man. That's Warner Brothers.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. Well, we want to know, what is your favorite Warner Brothers film? Be sure to let us know down in the comment section. Of course, just Google Warner Brothers movies, and it'll go through different genres on Google. And yeah, pick one. Let us know. We love the fan interaction. It's a whole lot of fun. Please be sure to do so. Man,
like
oh
you
man,
said,
now,
though, just to clarify, with Rush Hour, I just want to clarify, because if people do indeed Google Warner Brothers films, Wizard of Oz will be on that list. And I know what you're thinking. What? That was MGM. That was Louis B. Mayer, and how he did all those bad things to Judy Garland. And like, hey, wait. That was part of the AOL Time Warner Ted Turner thing. Ted Turner had scooped up the rights to Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz, and several other films when MGM was going bankrupt, and he kind of swooped in and took their library at that time. So that's how it ended up a Warner Brothers film, because when Warner Brothers scooped up Ted and booted him out, they accumulated and got his library of films. So if you're wondering, how is Wizard of Oz a Warner Brothers film, that's how.
that's
there
it
you go.
right there.